Okay. All right, guys. So welcome to Brentwood Historic Ghost Tours in Knightsen tonight. We always joke with that because we feel like we are everywhere else but where we actually started, which was in Brentwood. How many of you guys have been on one of our tours before?
Me.
So it's you.
Just me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just you.
I guess so.
You. So lots of newbies, virgins. Virgins.
That's a good way to put it.
That would be a cool show. Yep. So everyone always kind of asks us how we got into doing this. We started doing this because we both had paranormal experiences as children. By the way, I'm Stephanie, and this is Kimmy. There you go.
Oh.
There's Kimmy.
Sorry to everyone, I just blinded with that.
We had paranormal experiences as children. They say that children are the most open to the paranormal just because they don't know to kind of close themselves off to it. You hear of a lot of children, having imaginary friends, things like that. A lot of times those are spirits that they are actually speaking to. Then they kind of become scared and shut themselves off. We kind of did the same thing. We're always intrigued by it, but went about our lives. And then we went up to Virginia City in Nevada. I know there's my bucket of blood person over there. I'm wearing my bucket of blood buddy. If you guys, how many of you have been up there? So quite a few of you have been there. So very cool town, like you were saying, awesome place. We believe the entire town is haunted. It is one of the most haunted towns on the West Coast. We believe the entire United States. We've been all over the U.S. And Virginia City never disappoints for paranormal activity. We did an investigation up there, and we kind of got hooked on it. It's very easy to become hooked on this stuff. Just because it's fascinating. It's the unknown. You never know what you're going to get. You never have the same experience twice. If you keep speaking, we can hear you. We'd like to know who we're speaking with. What about Mr. Raviola? Are you here? No, Mr. Raviola's not here. Is Mr. Knight here tonight? Yeah, I heard it say yeah. Mom?
Whoa.
Yeah. Is someone looking for their mom?
Yes, good. What's your mom's name?
Can we help you find your mom?
Something like right.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you telling us we're on the right track? Or is it to our right?
To who's right? You can point. Oh, God.
Pointing to the right, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's moving. My whole hand is shaking. Do you want me to use it? Want me to do it? I got it.
Some people don't like to use the rods because it does take
love
your
to
energy
use them,
as well. Yeah.
It just was. Sorry.
I lost my daughter a year ago on Saturday.
That's what she just told me. And I didn't want to share it. I didn't want to say it. But that was.
She was 5.
Oh.
Could be saying mom. Be saying mom.
Telepathy?
Telepathy?
Telepathy was on his phone.
So, telepathy?
It says telepathy.
Huh.
Can she have some turn?
Did you grab it?
Does anyone want the last pair of these? they're kind of weighted down a little bit. So if you guys can all see how Kimmy is using these, you want to kind of point them down towards the ground a little bit. If you have them too far up, they'll swing like that.
If they're up too high.
See?
And kind of like
What?
spread them out so they don't like bang into each
Fear.
other, and they just makes it a little bit easier.
Scared.
I think we have
Fear.
some-
Is someone scared of us? You don't have to be scared.
We're all very friendly and sometimes funny.
Sometimes those ones switch themselves off. If you just press the button on the side, there you go. It should show that red light on the front. Me? Did it say me? Me. So, like I said, we have all these lights down on the ground. This one is kind of fun. If you touch it like that, it'll light up. Can you do that for us? Like I just did?
Have a little ducky.
Oh yeah, we've got we have a rubber ducky.
trigger object.
Trigger object, yep. So if there are children here, they would recognize a rubber ducky. They might be more likely to go touch that.
Is it spinning?
It's like going behind me.
You're probably going to want to point them down a little bit more. You may have them too close together. Although sometimes they do that, and it's like they're trying to hug you.
It's almost like
Yes.
you're trying to listen to the conversation behind me.
Possibly. So we're going to go next door. Is that okay with you? That we go in the building next door?
It is pointing right at you. I'm not doing that. I just did it.
If you have anything
Whoa.
to say to us here, you need to let us know before we move. Help? Does somebody need help?
I feel like it said.
Yes. How can we help you? Can we do anything for you? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to tell us because we don't know. Are you looking for something? Yes. Do you want us to help you find someone?
This one keeps pointing to her.
Huh.
Would make sense.
I think she's showing more emotion.
Yeah.
Caitlin, or we called her cat.
Oh.
Cat. Is it okay if we ask if she's here? Yeah.
As long as it doesn't hurt her.
Won't hurt her.
Won't.
Remove.
Is Cat here?
She thought she was a big girl, so she won't respond to Cat. She'll only respond to Caitlin.
Caitlin. Is Caitlin here?
Yeah. Cat was the little kid's name.
Oh.
Caitlin was the big girl's name.
Oh.
Cat was just too little for Cat.
No.
I got a big yes.
Big yes.
They said yes.
Yeah, the rods are like yes.
This is amazing. It's been a year since Saturday.
So, Caitlin, if you are here, do you know that your mom is here? Yes. She knows you're here too. Key number 2, Knightsen Post Office. So we heard you. We could hear you speaking with us. That was some of the- Who seen me? And you said, me? Who are you? Someone trying to light up lights? There's a lot of them. That was the Eddie that just went off. Can you do that again for us, please? There's blue lights on there. Can you tell us what town we're in? Or what year it is? We lost our gold. Can you tell us where to find it? She's not touching anything. It's going off. Who's doing that? Who's making the lights light up? Thank you for doing that for us. We appreciate it. Okay, we'll go ahead.
Something right here.
Yeah.
I'm all stiffed up. Maybe it was just
Who's here with us?
It felt like it was going the same.
Nope, not the speaker. Something spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was going too. Yeah.
Oh,
Is there a headless horseman here?
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm getting a
Right,
big
right,
ol'
you can
yes.
sit right here.
Right here.
Are they near the track? Well, I'll stand with my back to the track.
Yep.
You're welcome.
You notice where we are? We're there for a reason.
Oh my God. I will. That and mods, man.
That's what I heard too. I was like, I said horse shit.
Oh, well, there's a lot of that.
Leaving. Would you like the people to clean up after their horses? Yes.
yes, please. I heard that.
I don't know who those people are, but I can try to get a message to them.
One of our friends cleaned up some of it. She did. She got rid of some of it for you.
Cool. Can you tell her thank you? Yes.
I heard thanks.
Thanks. Oh, that was a whisper.
I heard a whisper
And, like,
too. I heard that.
It sounded like we're not here, are we? That's what it.
Oh, I just heard we know.
What did you hear?
I just heard we know.
We know. Yeah. Which there is no whisper programmed into this app. That's there.
Just like I said, first of all,
I keep hearing that whisper.
I know, I do too. So, we're here listening to you. What would you like to tell us, other than you don't like the horse here? Spring? It kind of feels like spring weather-ish.
telepathy. I said that earlier.
Are any of you trying to take your milk to the market? Actually, it sounded like garlic. Garlic to me. Did you pack garlic here? I believe this was an asparagus packing plant here. Yeah, there is garlic up the street.
A lot of good stuff up there.
Sure is.
We make some berries.
Can we do anything for you? Eat?
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
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 What can we bring you? What kind of food do you like?
I heard me too.
What kind of meat? Like steak?
What kind of
Yeah, like a steak? Is that what you want? Did it say manifest?
Maybe chicken. I love chicken.
If we could manifest a steak, that would be
I
very
always
cool.
thought they were going to manifest
Oh,
themselves.
oh yeah, that'd be good.
That would also be good. I think I saw one of you standing over there under the scaffolding.
Please leave. I heard please leave.
Oh, hey, it's not
Why does he?
Yeah.
Why?
We're on their property.
Would you like us to leave? We will if you would like us to leave. Remove. Okay, okay. This is when we
Why
say
does he?
bye.
Why does he want us to leave?
He said please. Because we're in their space. I don't want us here. Space. It says space. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you for speaking with us. Generally, guys, when they ask us to leave, we do leave. We are respectful.
Flash.
of them. So we're going to go ahead and pick up our stuff. We're going to move back
Flash.
across into the alley that we started
Just in
in.
case.
We'll meet you guys. Just be careful walking. We'll meet you guys.
Is there anybody here right now?
Sounds at you.
EMF
The
detector,
green
huh?
shoes, they light up all the way to red.
They are
It measures electromagnetic
So
fields.
that's how these all work. Your cell phones do emit electricity. So the first thing to do if these
Huh.
are going off
Yeah.
is make sure it's not next
Yeah,
to
see.
your cell phone. If we were doing
See this-
a
see how
longer
meters go? Yeah.
investigation,
Like she
we
says,
would
the cell
make you
phone
all put your
gives it
cell
off, see?
phones on airplane mode because then
Oh,
it
yeah,
does
yeah,
not
the cell
interfere with our equipment.
Yeah. So.
You can do that if you're comfortable with it. We understand sometimes you guys need your cell phone, so you don't have to. But if it is going off, the first thing to do is make sure it's not next to your cell phone. Any other source of electrical will set it off. So sometimes there's wires running underground, things like that.
Because I'm
It'll
holding my
set this
camera.
off. And we like to have you guys actually put these down on the ground in front of you.
Ah, go ahead.
They're easier for us all to see, if that's the case. And it's a little less intimidating for the spirits. The spirits don't know who you guys are. Sometimes they say they're scared of us and this stuff. So it's a little less threatening to them to have this stuff down on the ground. They might be more likely to wander through and be like, oh, what's that? And then you'll see them going off. If you see them going off, let us know. We can't all see. We have temperature guns.
Temperature guns. Nice.
Temperature gun. Volunteers for temperature gun? We got one over there.
You want to hold it?
I'm gonna get one.
One over here. So spirits also are said to cause a change in temperature. Usually it's a drop in temperature, but it could be a rise as well. So say all of a sudden Kimmy says, oh my gosh, my right foot is burning up. You can shoot the little laser dot over there, shoot her right foot with the temperature gun and see, wow, her right foot is 10 degrees warmer than her other foot. That could indicate something is going on there. We have a REM pod. I'm going to put this right out in the middle.
REM pod. It lets
This
us
is
know
a
if there's a
favorite of the
present.
paranormal TV shows. This is also one of our favorite pieces of equipment. It's tough to get a false positive reading on this. You have to get pretty much right up on top of the antenna. It's static motion censored. So you guys can see this. I'm waving my hand really close to it. It's not doing anything. You gotta be pretty much right on top of it to make it alarm. So if that is going off, something is very close to it, breaking the field around it. It has been going off.
You were.
The Brent
Yeah.
she was sick this past weekend, but I was just on the USS Hornet on Saturday.
Yes.
That thing went nuts on the Hornet. It's pretty cool when that piece of equipment goes on.
Yeah, what room were you in?
We went everywhere.
The ship
Where it was
where all the
going
soldiers
off,
died.
the admiral's quarters and the ready room. It was going off in the hallway outside the
I feel
ready
like it
room.
always goes off in the hallway.
Yeah.
And then debriefing.
That's that room.
Yeah.
It's all
They
of
haven't
that.
stored yet.
And we actually had it in the hallway. It has a geophone on the bottom, which is vibration censored. So, you guys all see that?
Oh, yeah.
So, if those
Ah.
orange lights on the bottom are going off and nobody is stomping their feet or anything like
well
that.
here.
Just came out shoes.
Did it
It goes well over
Oh,
here.
yeah, that's cool. So she's got an app on her cell phone called an iOvilus. There's also a device called an Ovilus that's doing the same thing. And spirits can manipulate the words, and it just said shoes.
When we were all
When
stomping
we
our
were
feet.
stomping our feet, so that's pretty cool.
Not bad.
Phones, we use a few of them as well. We'll tell you about how they work when we use them. Like I said, there's a bunch. Most of them are junk. Don't buy them. A lot of them cost money. But there are a few out there that work really well that we've had good evidence with. They're kind of controversial in the paranormal field. Some people love them, some people hate them. But paranormal's constantly trying to keep up with technology. We all always have our cell phones with us. And like Kimmy said, you know, it's a lot cheaper to just buy the app on your cell phone
And it
than
works.
to buy
I
the
mean,
actual.
It works.
It comes up with answers that are
Yeah.
relevant all the time.
It
Like,
Oh,
so what, like $120 as opposed to 99 cents?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you were to buy like a regular Ovilus, like one of these things, it would cost you around $100 versus the app on your phone. So we'll tell you when we turn those things on, we'll tell you how they work. We have a spirit box, an SB7 spirit box.
Yes.
Seen better
That's
days.
Michelle.
Oh,
I got one of those.
We actually have two of these, so we might run them both at the same time and see what happens. So this, they use a lot on the paranormal TV shows. How this works, it actually uses the radio. It sweeps through the radio frequencies at a very high rate of speed. So it's not on any one radio station for more than a millisecond or so. And it creates a white noise and gives the spirits kind of a phonetic alphabet and words to pick out to be able to speak to us. You're listening for words coming out of it. Any intelligent responses to our questions, like if I say, "What's my name?" and it goes, "Stephanie," you're listening for things like that. Pretty cool when that happens. We use a reverse AM sweep to try to cut down on radio interference because it does use the radio. Sometimes you get radio interference. You can usually tell when it's radio interference coming through. You might get like a blip of music or something. So you'll hear that when we turn it on. We have lots of these. These are dowsing rods. They're usually used to find water, but we use them to conduct energy to be able to speak with the spirits. They're copper. They're encased in a copper sleeve. They're pretty difficult to manipulate unless you're really swinging your arm or your wrist around. Kimmy's got these fancy light up rods. Yeah, lightsabers. She got tired of holding the flashlight over me when I was using them. But they also have copper along the bottom of it. And we ask the spirits, Kitty will demonstrate, to cross the rods like that for a yes answer and push them out like that for a no answer. We can get creative. We can ask these things to point, count, things like that. The most common thing we hear when we use these is, oh, you guys are moving your hands, you're moving your wrists. We are not moving at all when we use these things. We have, like you saw, quite a few pairs, so if you're interested in using these, we can pass them out as we get going. You can usually hear us reacting to them because we can feel them being pushed and pulled. It's a very strange feeling and pretty cool. If you are using them and they don't work for you, don't worry about it. Some people try to use these things for years and they do nothing.
My sister.
Yeah.
They don't work for her.
You have to be kind of open-minded to this.
She does not know I call her out on every single thing.
Yeah. And see if they work. So if they don't do anything for you right away or the
What did you
first
guys do
time,
with all my things?
we didn't even use those.
Dude.
We didn't even use them. That's funny.
Sorry.
So
I missed one tour.
she was like, everything falls apart when I'm not there. We didn't even use those on the other tour. Let's see. I think that's everything for now. If I know you guys have done this before, so if you're using anything, like we said, you're using the eye obulus right now, just let us know if it's going off.
And if we're when we're asking questions when investigating, you guys don't have to raise your hand, or you guys can just shout questions out.
Jump
There's
right
no rhyme or reason. If you guys have a question, you feel something, just shout it out.
It's
okay. We're not in 3rd grade. You don't have to.
yeah. It's totally okay.
We encourage it.
So we're going to tell you a little bit about the history of who we are. A lot of times our equipment goes off when we are reading the history out to you guys because they're being acknowledged. They're like, oh yes, you're talking about me, finally. So watch the equipment when we are telling you the history. We do kind of read from our handy dandy binder here. We do a lot of tours and we forget things. There's a lot of names and dates and things like that. We want to make sure we're giving you the accurate history of Knightsen and not the history of Byron or Clayton or something like that as we go. Before we do, does anyone have any questions about any of this stuff or how it works?
It's gonna be a pop quiz.
I know.
Kidding.
Okay.
Oh, I think we're good.
All right, so we are in Knightsen. The town of Knightsen was founded in 1898 when the Santa Fe Railroad laid tracks through the town. The railroad spent a year and a half laying the tracks, expecting the first trains to arrive in the spring of 1900. Before it became the town of Knightsen, it was often called Knight's Station, and the town was named after George Knight, who owned a farm here before the railroad was built.
I was like, he's calling us.
Ooh. George, is that you? The name Knightsen is the merge of Knight and his wife, Christina Christensen. Merge them together and you get Knightsen. Harvey Rook was the first Santa Fe Railroad agent assigned to Knightsen, and he later married George Knight's daughter. The Santa Fe Railroad originally wanted to name this town Maganos after John Marsh's Los Maganos Ranch that once covered most of East County. Settlers in the area preferred the name of Knightsen after the George Knight family, who stood to lose a big portion of their farmland for construction of the railroad. To assure the town would be named Knightsen, residents wrote to Washington, D.C. and secured a post office under the name of Knightsen before the railroad construction was completed. During the winter of 1899, George Knight was commissioned as postmaster of the new town named after his family, and he held that position for 13 years. He built the post office and a grocery store, the first retail establishment in Knightsen. Soon to follow was an asparagus packing plant built by the Leinen brothers, which during harvest season would load and ship 2 to 4 freight cars of asparagus stalks daily. In the early 1900s, the town of Knightsen consisted of Henry W. Hydorn's General Store, the post office, Art English's Saloon, Frank Stone's Imperial Cafe, William Redmond's Blacksmith Shop, the Santa Fe Depot, several warehouses, and a respectable number of residents. The residents of Knightsen established a small park in the middle of town consisting of a lawn, colorful flowers, and several eucalyptus trees where townspeople people could sit and visit on a warm summer's day, enjoying the Delta breeze. So all of these trees across the street, they're all eucalyptus trees. A flagpole was built in the middle of the town where school children often presented patriotic programs. By 1913, electric lights were installed, and the citizens could boast about their booming business district downtown. So we're standing right next to Sonia's Country Inn. Did any of you ever get the chance to go in there when it was open?
I did.
Okay, so a lot of you have been in there. Pretty cool place. We wish it was still open and that we could get in there. It was the first saloon in Knightsen, and this building was also a brothel. In the early 1900s, Irene Hamilton bought the saloon and added a brothel to the saloon. When Irene died, she left a will that stated the names of the 4 women who worked for her as soiled doves and gave them each $500 as well as their choice of one of her diamond rings. So a lot of money back then. And if you were in there, you may have noticed the nudie pictures up on the ceiling. They had quite a few of them. That was an ode to it being a brothel. They might still be in there. I don't know. It's
It
possible they're
changed
still
hands,
in
but they never did
Yeah.
anything. So
They-
God only knows.
it. It was supposed to have reopened long ago, like a year ago, and I'm not sure what's holding it up from being reopened. Hopefully it reopens soon. Many people have reported seeing an apparition of a young boy inside Sonia's and back here behind Sonia's. And we think we might know who that boy is. In March of 1903,
Whoa.
woo!
Ghosted it.
Yeah, the ghost is like, don't talk about that.
Closing the book on you.
March in 1903, the Swickeraft family lived behind Sonia's, so this was all their property. Their backyard opened to the property that we're standing on. The family had 2 boys and 1 girl. Their oldest son had a reputation around town of being troubled and dangerous. One evening, he took his father's shotgun and pointed it at his sister in their home. He fired and the bullet grazed her head. After this, he went in the backyard where his brother was playing, close to where we are, and shot him in the head. Young Benjamin Swickeraft died here and may have never left. He's buried in the Antioch Cemetery, and his tombstone reads, "A little angel rests here now." His older brother, the one that actually shot the gun, went on to fight in World War I, where he was killed. So it's possible he also returned to check to see if his brother and sister are still here. Before 1898, before this became Knightsen, this land was owned by John Raviola, a sheep herder, who discovered gold and amassed a large fortune in this area. It was said that Raviola hid his loot like a pirate on his property. In the late 1800s, someone tried to find it, and Raviola was murdered, leaving the location of his gold a mystery. In 1905, some of it was actually found. A considerable amount of gold was found here by a man named John Virtue. The gold was sent to the Antioch Bank for safekeeping. When word passed of the gold being discovered,
Might want to get that checked.
yeah,
Yeah.
when it got out that gold was discovered here, miners stampeded this area. So we think Raviola could also be the man that people have seen the apparition of. So we're going to go ahead and investigate a little bit here.
Huh.
Yes, please.
This was a station for a milk gathering station. Around here, there were an awful lot of dairies at one
Yes.
time.
Yeah, there were, and we'll talk a little bit about
I started
all of
recording like on the
the
boxes.
milk
I see
and the
little
agriculture and
orbs.
stuff out here. Yeah, I mean, I may not, everyone's always like Knightsen. There's
can't be
nothing out there
lights.
right
Right?
now.
There's no
But
light
at
around
one
here.
time, this
We're in a
was
dark
quite
spot.
a booming district down here,
Dust.
and the spirits
No,
are
if it
still.
was dust, it looked flaky.
Okay, I didn't want them to turn in.
I know.
I saw the lights and I was like, we've had cars try to park here to go to the post office when we've had a group, and I'm like, oh god. I don't
It
have
could
the
be dust
flashlight in my
because it
hand
looked
flashing.
flaky. And plus, there's no dust in here.
So we're gonna turn on the SB7 spirit box.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Turning on the box, yes.
This is really quiet. I don't know if you want it.
Is it?
I don't know what its deal is. It's as loud as it can go. And the speaker is not good.
No.
Hello?
Hello? It said hello.
I feel like I'm on the phone.
And if you guys know, you want to try the other one?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the spirit box or if it.
Michelle's spirit box is a little beat up.
Yeah. It said hello again. We're gonna try our other one to see if it's any louder. Sometimes it comes on and it's really loud.
Yeah, sometimes we're like, oh, you're not.
Yeah,
Spirits
it could
also
be
like
dust
to
because
mess with
dust
the
is a little
equipment.
flaky.
They,
It looked like it
the
went
equipment
device.
has energy, so
Flew
sometimes
away.
they pull from it.
It would
You hear a battery
Yeah.
being drained,
It went to the REM
things
pod.
like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they mess with your
Looked like
phone.
it's scared.
So it could be the case as well that that's happening. Turn the other one on and see if it's any better. This
There
one's
we
a
go.
little bit louder. So you guys hear that? That's it sweeping through the radio stations.
Okay.
Hello? And if you guys can't hear it, we know there's road noise. You can come in closer. We can all be friends. You can get a little bit closer to it if you can't hear it.
I'm amazed that there's this much activity on the road in Knightsen tonight.
For real.
It's on a Monday night, I know.
Huh?
Is there anyone here who would like to speak with us? We're here to talk to you.
I got a teenager.
There's a teenager here. That would make sense. Did it say, where are you?
That was a full sentence.
So there's a bunch of us standing here. Can you see us?
Child.
Child
Yeah.
Also makes sense.
also makes sense. The family I told you about. Are any of the Swickeraffs here tonight?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like tentative.
If you are here, can you do something to let us know that you're here, please? There's a lot of lights down on the ground. So if you walk up to any of them, they'll light up. We're not here to hurt you. We don't mean you any disrespect. We just want to speak with you. And none of this stuff will hurt you. You don't have to be scared. Touch it again for us, please. Can you turn it back on? Please. You don't have to be scared of us. I know we all started looking at it.
They're like, oh, you're all looking
Yeah.
at it.
If you'd like to come back and turn that on, we would like it if you would do that for us, please.
We won't pay attention. Look, I'm looking.
Put that Eddie. Move it over. Put it that way. Bring it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So obviously we are in the post office. This is not the original post office, but again, great trigger object. We are in a post office. The first post office in Knightsen was founded in 1900. Knightsen was a part of California's Wild West, and at one point it was home to more horses than people. That ratio has changed, but barely. People only outnumber horses here by about 50 people. Knightsen was a convenient place for those to stop, those traveling by horse and carriage to stop. Those coming from San Francisco on their search for gold as they were going up to gold country. So all of these towns around here, Knightsen, Brentwood, Byron, were about 1 day's ride from San Francisco. So the people would stop in these towns, stay in a hotel, get drunk at the saloons, all that good stuff, visit the brothels, and then they'd go up to gold country. So this post office has seen some lawless individuals come through. There was not a lot of law back then, and there was a lot of money changing hands. So people were killed for their gold and money all the time, left a lot of restless spirits.
Do you know what was here?
This was a,
Was it a grocery?
it was a grocery
This
store.
was the grocery?
This was the grocery store. Yeah, if you look, some of these buildings actually, if you look up, they have wooden plaques that say what they were and the year they were. Not all of them do, but some of them do. This was the grocery.
The Deanza Trail runs right along there too.
Yeah, yeah. So people have also seen a man dressed in period style clothing wandering through this post office. They usually see him around in that corner where y'all are over there. So we think it might be George Knight, just checking in to see that everything is okay in the post office. We often hear footsteps in here. We sometimes hear like this tapping on the post office boxes. So
A lot of times people do come in to get their mail too.
yeah, so we don't want you to
there
be
might
scared.
be
There might be
moving people, and they usually we scare them almost as much as they scare us because they're like, "Why is everyone hanging out in the post office?"
yeah, yeah. So we'll use one of our phone apps in here.
Looking for the other backpack. I'm
I know.
My head is not attached right now.
Bluetooth is ready. Waiting for device connecting. Bluetooth connected.
Okay, so we
Spiritus?
okay. We'll show you most of the ones that we have. So this one that we're going to use is called Spiritus. How this works is it actually has 4 word banks with words already pre-programmed into them. Again, it works off this concept of creating a white noise and a phonetic alphabet for the spirits to be able to manipulate and use to tell us what they want us to hear. So it's going to be loud probably. I'll turn this on. It looks like this. Spiritus.
Welcome to Spirited.
So here's the 4 banks over here. I know.
Every time we turn it on, we're like, ah!
Yeah.
We've actually had really good luck with this one here. Like in the middle of the afternoon, we've gotten some of the best stuff.
It does not have to be dark for you. Spirits are out all the time. It's just spookier and quieter in the dark, but they're always around.
Oh, there's another one. That was awesome.
There's
Oh, you got one too?
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
Deed.
Who was playing with our lights when we first came in?
I did.
One.
One.
Can you ask who's pointing at me?
Who's pointing at our friend over here? What's your name?
My name is Erin.
Aaron. Who's pointing at Aaron? Can you tell us your name, please? Sometimes the problem with this is they all speak at once. So it's hard to make it. It just said Aaron. You heard it too. It's Aaron. Do you recognize Aaron? You're there.
Whoa.
It's your spirit guide.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, who's
Who's my spirit guide? What's the name?
Aaron.
Erin.
She's Aaron.
That's unnecessary.
That's nice.
It's not necessary.
Down.
Heavy in here.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very heavy.
Like,
Is
So-
there something I should know?
Is there something you would like to tell Erin? Do you have a message for Erin? Yes.
Hello.
Did that just say your name? Mom, did that just say your name?
I heard hello.
Whoa.
Yeah. So Erin would like to know if you have something. What?
Is there something I should know?
Jennifer? Do you know a Jennifer?
I'm Jennifer.
Well, there's a Jennifer over here.
Oh my gosh, it's turning.
I was pointing at Jennifer.
Is it Jennifer Andrade? Jennifer from
Damn.
No.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my god, it's really. I'm not doing
Jennifer
this.
Bigler?
Are you swinging around? That's a laugh.
Yeah, when they do that, it's like they're laughing.
Timing.
Can I borrow her?
Breathing's funny.
What's my connection to Jennifer?
It's really heavy in here.
It is very heavy in here. It's hard for me to focus.
Yeah, really, really hard.
I know, I feel like my brain's like all. Yeah. So, okay, we're getting the names Erin and Jennifer. Is that correct? No. Are you playing tricks on us?
Yes.
Stop. I heard stop and I heard money. Are you looking for money?
Breathe.
Whoa. Yeah, I was.
Hi. I don't think you're pointing to me. I think you're pointing to the treasure because it's buried somewhere over there. They always point over there.
Is that where the money is? That's what you're pointing
Definitely.
to?
The obelisk is definitely.
Definitely.
Buried over there.
And then the rods crossed and said yes.
I'm like, I know you're not pointing at me. Aaron.
Aaron.
What do you want me to do? Is there something I should do?
Make a decision. Is what
Make a decision.
Zach's not
What
even
kind of
in
decision?
yours or wannabe Zach.
What kind of decision?
What kind of decision does Aaron need to make tonight?
What does that mean?
Does she need to make a decision about money?
Down.
She, magic.
Dad.
Dad. Dad.
Dad?
Come meet.
Come meet. Either come eat or come meet. Does that mean anything to you?
I'm supposed to be
What the
my dad
hell is
tomorrow.
that?
You're supposed to meet your dad tomorrow.
But we're canceling.
Not cancel.
Did I hear the changers?
Every time someone passes away in my family, I was gonna go meet them and I didn't.
You might not want to cancel if you don't have to.
That's weird.
That is very strange.
Is something going to happen to my father?
I don't think so.
That's right.
I don't think so. Maybe he needs to tell you something. Or,
Weird.
yeah.
Thank you.
Leave us.
It's left side.
Do you want us to leave?
Whoa, I just heard mama. I just heard mama.
Mama?
Yeah, I heard that.
Like, oh, wait, you heard it out of
Look at this. The rods are pointing at her. The rods are pointing at her. I just heard that. Let's ask.
Did Caitlin say mama? Whoa.
Oh, I could have told you that.
I know, but she's pretty strong.
She's very strong.
I just heard that. I just heard her again.
Very strong.
I just heard a little girl's voice again.
It just said hi.
Nee.
Wilson.
Is goed.
Mom.
Whoa, it's pointing at her again.
Gold.
What the?
Caitlin, do you know where the gold is?
She's like, yep.
I want to point over there.
Yeah. I'll be right with you. I'll be right with you.
I'll be right with
I'll
I'll be right with you.
Thank you for coming, baby.
Too late.
Sit down.
Sit down.
They've told us that in here before. Sit down. Sit down. Sometimes I think in here we might be like threatening like a big group of people. It's a little less threatening if they're sitting because they told us to do that. Sit down. Do you want to try doing that?
Yeah, we can.
So we're gonna turn this off for a second. We're gonna try, since it's fairly quiet in here, we're gonna try just doing a regular EVP.
We're gonna wait for the train to go by.
The train picks this here.
I'm all stiffed up.
Who's here with us?
I felt like it was going the same.
Nope, not the speaker. Something spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was going too. Yeah.
Oh.
Is there a headless horseman here?
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm getting a big old yes.
Right here.
Right here.
Are you near the track? Well, I don't stand with my back to the track. Yep. You're welcome.
You notice where we are? We're here for a reason.
Oh my God. I will. That mod, man.
That's what I heard too. I was like, I said horse shit.
Oh, well, there's a lot of that.
Leaving. Would you like the people to clean up after their horses? Yes.
Yes, please. I heard that.
I don't know who those people are, but I can try to get a message to them.
One of our friends cleaned up some of it. She did. She got rid of some of it for you.
Wolf, can you tell her thank you? Yes.
I heard thanks.
Thanks. Oh, that was a whisper.
I heard a whisper too. I heard that.
It sounded like we're not here, are we? That's what it...
Oh, I just heard we know.
What did you hear?
I just heard we know.
We know. Yeah. Which there is no whisper programmed into this app. There, yep. That's there.
Just like I said, first of all.
I keep hearing that whisper.
I know, I do too. So, we're here listening to you. What would you like to tell us, other than you don't like the horse here? Spring? It kind of feels like spring weather-ish.
Telepathy. I said that earlier.
Are any of you trying to take your milk to the market? Actually, it sounded like garlic. Garlic to me. Did you pack garlic here? I believe this was an asparagus packing plant here. Yeah, there is garlic up the street.
A lot of good stuff up there.
There is.
We make some cherries.
Can we do anything for you? Eat?
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
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 What can we bring you? What kind of food do you like?
I heard me too.
Meat.
What kind of meat? Like steak?
What kind of
Yeah, like a steak? Is that what you want? Did it say manifest?
Maybe chicken. I love chicken.
If we could manifest a steak, that would be
I always
very cool.
thought they were going to manifest
Oh,
themselves.
Oh, yeah.
That would also be good. I think I saw one of you standing over there under the scaffolding.
Please leave. I heard please leave.
Oh, hey, it's not
Why does he?
Yeah.
What?
that we're on their property.
Would you like us to leave? We will if you would like us to leave. Remove. Okay, okay. This is when we
Why
say
does he
bye.
want? Why does he want us to leave?
Please, please. Because we're in their space. I don't want us here. Space. It says space. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you for speaking with us. Generally, guys, when they ask us to leave, we do leave. We are respectful.
Flash.
So we're going to go ahead and pick up our stuff. We're going to move back across
Flash.
into the alley that we started
Some
in.
days.
We'll meet you guys. Just be careful walking. We'll meet you guys. Key number 2, Knightsen Post Office. So we heard you. We could hear you speaking with us. Tag, that was someone. Who was it that was talking to us? When I asked if you had seen me, and you said me? Who are you? Someone trying to light up lights? There's a lot of them. That was the Eddie that just went off. Can you do that again for us, please? There's blue lights on there. Can you tell us what town we're in? Or what year it is? We lost our gold. Can you tell us where to find it? making the lights light up. Thank you for doing that for us. We appreciate it. Okay, we'll go ahead.
There's something right here.
Yeah. Is there gold in this post office? Okay, so I'm gonna turn it off. We'll hook it up to the speaker and play it back.
Are you hooked to the Bluetooth?
But it won't let me find it.
Oh, that's weird.
Actually, we'll see if this worked. Because on the Hornet, whenever I tried to do an EVP on the Hornet, it came out garbled, almost like it was.
It did for us too.
Did it?
Really?
We have 3 of them.
Okay, that's
see